I create and dedicate my life to art simply because I believe it's possible. Not because I'm guaranteed success or money or fame, but for the sole reason that I believe deep in my bones that I can. Writing is what binds my heart to this world. For you, maybe it's painting or filmmaking or any other art form that brings beauty to our world. And of course, we want other people to cherish our art and to love it because we poured so much of our love into it. But at the end of the day, the artist has to be okay with their creation only being a conversation between themselves and an empty, vast universe. We not only have to be okay with that, but we have to keep creating anyway. Because if we don't, we would have to die knowing we never tried. The most regretful people on earth are those who felt the call to creative work, who felt their own creative power restive and uprising and gave to it neither power nor time. Now here's an optimistic view on why I think you should keep creating art that I hope will provide you with some hope. When you tell someone you want to be an artist, or to be more concrete, we'll use a writer in this example, but insert whatever creative art form you have in place. So when you tell someone you want to be a writer, the response is often coded in their own insecurities. Don't get me wrong, there are people out there who will support and encourage your craft. And to be honest, most people in my experience will say that, whoa, that's awesome, and encourage the craft. But I can assure you, I understand that this is not always the case. And for those who feel hurt by another human voicing to you they don't think it's realistic, and a common one I hear, it's less than a 1% shot at success. I want you to know that one, don't resent these people because more often than not, they're projecting their own fears onto you. And even though, hopefully, it's coming from a place of love, but two, ignore them obliviously. And three, know that they're probably wrong. It's actually not less than a 1% shot at success. I'd put my money that it's actually much higher than we all think. And obviously this is for those who are dedicated to improving their craft day in and day out. Those who share their art with the world consistently. And of course, for those who show up every single day, not for months, not for even years, but for decades. And I would argue if you're doing those three things, staying dedicated to improving your craft, sharing your art with the world consistently, and committing to this for decades, I would put my money that your shot at becoming a full-time artist is much, much higher than you anticipate, if not inevitable. I like to think of art as anything else that requires time and effort to receive results. Don't get me wrong, becoming an artist is hard. Becoming an artist is harder than most things, but it's not as hard as society makes it seem. I would even say it's just as hard as pursuing a different career path. It's just less understood by society. Your job as an artist is not to chase approval, but it's to honor your inner voice. The act of creation is its own reward. You are already successful from the moment you started. And another thing that I like to point out is, why would you stop doing something that you love? You don't have to become a full-time artist to create art. Even if not one soul acknowledges your art, the process transforms you, refines your character, and gives meaning to your life. You're creating something beautiful and becoming someone beautiful in that process. And that beauty is enough. Artists have a hunger for eternity, to create art that outlives the artist, art that leaves a stamp on existence, because you never know. Maybe years or decades or even centuries after you're gone, someone will somehow stumble across your piece of art, and maybe it'll save their lives or broaden their perspective, or maybe it'll change the world in such a profound and impactful way that you could have never imagined. Maybe it'll do none of these things, and the only impact it will have on someone is cause a smile. Then they forget about it and move on with their life. But nonetheless, art is proof you were here. The reason we're alive is to express ourselves in the world, and creating art may be the most effective and beautiful method of doing so. Art goes beyond language, beyond lives. It's a universal way to send messages between each other and through time. Keep creating your art, even if no one cares, even if it's not realistic. Keep creating. I will see you guys in the next one.